We have Fernando Martinho, the co-founder and CTO of Naoris. Please welcome Fernando. He will be talking about cybersecurity, blockchain, AI. The time is now.
Thank you very much. First of all, it's my first time here, and I really love it. You know, it's an amazing country, amazing people. I love the culture, so I'm really, really pleased to be here talking to you today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the past, yeah, where we are today. Cybersecurity is not a problem. That is an old problem, but it's not also something that we should disregard. And I think most people are conscious of the problem today, but there's a lot more into it, yeah? And the dangers are increasing every day. So, in 2000, I'm going to go very quickly, yeah? 2007, this man created something that changed pretty much the way we do things today, yeah? Phones are nothing new, you know, they were created 100 and something years ago, but it's just the way we interact with things now, yeah? So, then Samsung and Android, you know, all these people came later on, but he was the one that is really creating something new. Then, again, the iPad gave a different dimension to the problem. Now we have an ecosystem with lots of apps. You know, those apps create all different types of problems as well. So now we're talking about having a lot of interaction with our daily life, yeah? And we're putting everything on the cloud. We're putting everything on everybody's hands and how they deal with things and the data that they use on a daily basis, yeah? So this is starting to become a really big problem at this time. 1 year later, cloud-first strategy started to be a mainstream adoption for large corporates. So if you're not on the cloud, you're 8 years late already. 8 years in technology is a lot of things. It's a lot of time, right? But it was also the date of mobile first. And that's when Facebook started to come out with this type of strategy, and Google. So this created a completely different problem, yeah, for cybersecurity. Just think about, now you're moving all your stuff to the cloud, but you're allowing everybody to start to interact with their mobiles and tablets and everything that is really mobile. Then this created really a very well-connected world. And you know, hackers come in really in many different flavors, yeah? Could be the next door guy wearing a suit. Is not then anymore that hairy dude guy with an AC/DC t-shirt. And in a connected world, you know, it's a lot of things that they have to benefit from. The prize is too big, yeah? But this is the game changer. Internet of Things. So now, just imagine that everything that you interact in the world on a daily basis being connected, with no cybersecurity standards agreed by anyone. This is a completely different problem now. The dimension is huge, yeah? So the problem today, every single thing is a single point of failure. We centralize things. So it's always been that silo mindset, yeah? Centralization of data or processing. And, you know, the more devices you have to the network, the higher the risk, yeah? And it has been the same approach for 35 years. Everyone is trying to secure the end point for 35 years. The end point is your devices, yeah? Servers, your IP camera, whatever. It's a lost war. And there is evidence, of course, yeah? It's a lost war because these guys, when we find something today, they have been using this for 12 to 14 months, okay? The US is the country, in my opinion, most advanced in tech, and where they take cybersecurity to a different level. A hacker lives on a network on an average of 101 days without being detected. Okay? In Europe is 185 days, and in Southeast Asia is 270 days. Average. So it is a big problem here. Now, 70% of these breaches is through your supply chain. Nobody can do in your organization, being a government, being your own company, you can't do everything. Yeah? You can't do your laptops, you can't create all the software. So your supply chain is really what they are using mostly. Yeah? Also, audits and compliance. It's one of the big problems today because let's say an organization that has a large organization, could be medium and small, but let's say they have 20,000 devices on the network. Audits, the way it's done, they come to your IT department, they select 5 or 6 servers, they go through the checklist, yeah? That's not a representation of your estate, yeah? So, I don't want to, put names here on the doc, but, it is a problem that is not just because of the top 5 consultancies in the world. It is how we operate in these days. And those 5 servers could check the box, but then there will be 19,995 that could be all infected. Yeah? You just don't know. So it is a huge problem. I mentioned this 35 days. So, these are all the cyber attacks we had. My risk was absolutely huge, I spoke with their CIO a while back, and he got a call at 2:30 in the morning to say all of their servers were infected with non-petty virus. 300 million loss. They lost a lot of business because the backups didn't work. Usual stuff, yeah? But the biggest prize was really Lockheed. Lockheed was the biggest wealth transfer in history. $1.5 trillion lost in IP. The F-35 blueprints and so on, yeah? So, and this is just the beginning. I was quite shocked about this. This was in October. Some of the Pentagon weapons, when there was an audit, some of them, they still have password as password. Okay? So you understand the problem is, yeah? Also, another one, I mentioned to you about the supply chain. They went through the travel system. They took the records of 30,000 employees of the Pentagon. Travel system, yeah? So, just very quickly, the problem is, when it's just about money, yeah, they become richer, I become poor, yeah? So what? Okay. It doesn't affect many people's lives, yeah? But think about this. Population exploding, yeah? We need to be more clever at farming. So, smart farms. It's a fact. It's happening today, yeah? Driverless tractors, seeding and planting, etc., etc. Think about this. There's going to be a crazy hacker that will hack a manufacturing of connected agricultural systems, yeah? A fact, this. Now, we're talking really about famine. We're talking about destroying entire crops of a country. It's my food on the plate, your food on the plate. I take this at heart quite seriously. It's a big problem that we are connecting everything and we don't have proper cybersecurity. So these are common cyber attacks. Malware, zero-day viruses, and there's a lot of stuff out there in terms of cyber weapons that are not detectable yet at the moment. We've heard all of these, man in the middle, ransomware, etc., And a lot of people say, yeah, blockchain, does not solve all the problems, yeah? It really doesn't, yeah? Endpoint vulnerabilities. That is the key. Yeah? Even with blockchain, you still have the same things. Endpoint vulnerabilities, there's always a public and private key security, and lots, but lots of flawed algorithms and protocols at the moment. Yeah? The only blockchain that hasn't had any problems so far is Bitcoin blockchain. Every single other blockchain has problems. Some of them are fixing it. It's still the beginning, yeah? But I was quite shocked some of the problems that Ethereum has, actually, you know? So, with blockchains, there's also still a problem that you can't compromise that source. Remember, before it gets to the blockchain, you know, it's on your laptops, on your phones, or whatever devices you use, yeah? It can be compromised in transit when it goes from your device to whatever blockchain. And you can talk to me about encryption, and I can tell you that there is ways to actually find the encryption algorithms by looking at the energy usage of a processor. There's already 3 white papers published on that and verified. Just the clock cycles of the processor, you can reverse engineer the algorithms. Yeah? So, many people say immutable, yeah, but if you put garbage in, it actually stays garbage there, immutable garbage. There's not even garbage out, yeah? It's immutable garbage. So then you'll be making these informed decisions based on that garbage, on that immutable data. Massive, massive problem, yeah? So blockchain, don't get me wrong, blockchain is very, very good as a technology, but there are things that you need to do. And it introduces different attack vectors as well, yeah? So they will look at doing these type of things, yeah? Add new parts to the chain, change the rules or policies, and, you know, making sure that they can manipulate any entity, yeah? The end game is obviously, you know, fraudulent, doom fraud, pretty much. That's the end game. So we at Naoris created distributed cybersecurity with Swarm AI. I'm just going to tell a little bit about this. So we are a decentralized and distributed, let's not confuse both, they're both different things, yeah? Distributed and decentralized cybersecurity. Pretty much, for anyone to break into a device, yeah, they need the consensus of the entire blockchain. So it's consensus from all devices that you add to the blockchain for any action on a computer network. Compliance and service level is in real time. Your devices are onboarded to our blockchain. It is there, it's visible in real time. And we use AI, Swarm AI, that is integrated with cyber intelligence to actually provide quite a few things. Detection in terms of what nodes are under attack and so on. Yeah? So, at the core, it really stops an attacker from moving from a compromised device across the network, because very rarely they get value from the device they compromise. Yeah? It's just an entry point. Could be your IP camera, believe it or not, last year, quite a lot of people, because people leave the IP cameras with password, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever comes from the manufacturer. So there's a lot of entry points, and we basically take the device health status at a point in time. Yeah? So we look for integrity. We don't look at all the cybersecurity companies have been doing, which is trying to protect your device. It's a lost war. Yeah? Lost war. These guys have been 12 or 14 months always ahead of you. So we take that and we look at the BIOS, operating system, kernel, look for libraries for code injection, so your application layer, our own rules, plus your own rules, and we hash that. When we hash that, we just look for integrity. And integrity is mathematically perfect, true or false. We don't care if it's a virus, if it's a cyber weapon, yeah? We just care that there is something that is compromising that integrity of that device. So when we take the hash, that goes to our blockchain, it gets distributed. When an attack, and we do that every second, less than a second, when an attack that compromises your device, the next hash is going to be different. There's no more consensus of the entire blockchain that is the same hash. Therefore, the assumption is your device has been compromised, and your device is kicked out from the network, and you define this. It could be kicked out from the network, which stops the attacker to progress on the network. And remember, that's where they gain value, yeah? They go through the entry point, and it's a target attack because they know what they're looking for, or they're just exploring. So we stop them in less than a second from doing that. So by doing this, what we achieved is something that is very, very hard for them to do. Basically, they have to compromise completely the mathematics of a blockchain. Yeah? They will have now to break into your device. They have to break into all devices on the blockchain, plus your own device, just to break into your device in less than a millisecond. Also, some of the things that we do is data exfiltration. So if someone's trying to copy data to your USB drive, uploading to a website, FTP that data, yeah, usual tactics from an attacker, that has to be validated by the blockchain. So can Fernando copy that data to that specific USB drive or not? Yeah? That rule can add it to a blockchain and distribute it. So think the power of the rules that you can add and distributing, including IAM. Basically, we distributed everything. Yeah? So even with IAM, they can't compromise as well. Yeah? We have an auto-healing process, so you and I, we want to continue to work. So we pick up the previous health status, we put it back, you don't even know you were hacked. And your IT department, of course, gets informed, usual stuff, email, SMS, and so on. And also, dashboards will be visible, yeah? And high availability environments, like cloud, SAP, Oracles, we take down the compromised server, kick back in the standby server, yeah? So by doing this, we actually stop them in less than a second versus 101 days in the US, for example, yeah? So FUDs, this is fully undetectables. These are cyber weapons. Nobody can detect them today. Nobody. If they say they can, they're lying to you. They cannot. Zero-day malware, we pretty much tackle everything. Data loss prevention. We use Swarm AI. Our AI is distributed as well. So the biggest problem today with AI is that people are centralizing AI on the cloud. Yeah? I hack the endpoint. I feed the data that I want to the AI. I'm in control of the AI. So we have to distribute as well AI, and we distributed the AI. And the AIs are working all together in the local ecosystem, making decisions as a collective intelligence with going centralizing that decision, and then change, for example, for a transaction, if a node is under attack, the transaction can be changed to be done, I don't know, a server on the moon, yeah? Or in Africa. They will move constantly if they feel that there is an attack in their local environment, yeah? So it makes it even more difficult for an attacker. We use in DPoS, so there's no 51% attack, yeah? It goes right down to the last two devices that are validating each other, yeah? We have quite an advanced delegated proof of stake, and you can check that on our website, yeah? This solves Merkle tree, sidechain, solves the problem of your supply chain, because now you can start to enforce standards across your supply chain. If they are onboarded on our cybersecurity system, you know if they are doing exactly what you want to do in terms of compliance, yeah? And following the standards that you have in your own company. So we tackle all the cybersecurity domains. We distributed everything. So from an AI perspective to pretty much cloud security. Our vision is really to make the world a safer place, yeah? And really change the way cybersecurity is done. It's really bad at the moment, yeah? This is a gentleman who used to be the ex-chairman of intelligence of NATO. We got introduced to him. He retired and he came back and he's helping us to now introduction to militaries and governments and so on, because they are really in a big need of this. Great guy. So we were nominated for Technology Disruptor of the Year in UK. And then blockchain adoption is really about use cases, yeah? You have to be creative to solve the problem, scalability, you know, and trust on your tech is key. And to have that trust on that new tech, which is blockchain, you have to look always at your cybersecurity. Otherwise, you lose your reputation. And, you know, in the beginning, when you're adopting something new, your reputation is, if it's get compromised, you know, then you have a big problem. Thank you.